Welcome back, Kevin with Everglades Canine Academy, and I'm working with Sunny today, the Shiba Inu. And today we're just going to be working on some obedience commands. One of his problems is that he goes into a down, but he pops up right away. So he's like really good at sitting, no problem. I am going to be using a food lure, but my goal is to be able for him to stay down while I stand up, and then hopefully maybe we can start backing away and creating some distance from him. So whenever I start working with the dog, honestly, the first thing that I do is I really just start having them engage with me. So we use a marker training system to communicate with canines. And basically, I'm just going to start using his reward marker, which is simply yes. And he's hungry right now. And this is like the best time to do obedience training with your dog. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to require anything from him first. I want him to be excited to be with me. Yes. And as you can see, he really is. I have value. I have food that he wants. And I'm going to start moving around, being exciting. Yes. Start really getting him to engage with me. Start with some command sit. Yes. Good. Just really communicating with the dog. Sit. Yes. Good. And I'm not going to really work duration at first. Duration is getting the dog to hold it. Sit. No. Yes. So if he pops up from his sit, and we're going to eventually get to down, but if he pops up, I'm going to correct him. I'm not going to reward him. And what my goal is to actually start moving away from him a little bit. Sonny, sit. Yes. There we go. Good. So now let's start working him into this down position. So when I'm working a dog into luring down, I'm actually not going to tell him. Let's see if he knows down actually. Sonny, down. Okay, so like clearly he doesn't know the down command, right? Sonny, down. Throw a little hand signal. Nope, not too much going on up there for down. So at this point, I really don't need to go into verbal to repeat myself to have him down, 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 right? Hudson, come. Let's see if hey, come on. Come on, buddy. Hudson, down. No, down. Well, he eventually did it, but so you can tell that Hudson knows down verbally, right? And that's where we want to get Sunny. Free. There we go. Good. And I'll release Hudson. He doesn't want Sunny's food. That's okay. And over time, you guys, let me tell you that I do start working with food at first, but over time, you don't even need to use food. The dog will just be conditioned to do it. So whenever I'm teaching a down with a food lure, okay, I want to show you how I'm holding the food. So I just have a couple pieces of kibble right here, if you can see, and I'm going to hold it in between my index finger and my ring finger, and it's kind of resting on my middle finger right there. And I kind of make a little canoe shape, and basically I put my thumb over the kibble to hold it in place. Okay, this is so Sunny can lick the food, but he can't actually eat it. And it really helps if you do some luring exercises like this. You get him to chase. Yes. So if your dog doesn't know how to lure, you actually have to teach them how to follow your hand first. And then this becomes really easy. Okay. So for down, I like to do down in a from a stand position. Yes. All right. So the dog gets into like a bow, and then their butt goes down as the last action, and then I mark that. Okay, yes. Now, when I see a lot of people do this, they move their hand so much, and they start moving their hand away, and they're moving, and they're moving, and they're moving. If you actually are a little bit more still with your hand, you'll have much better results. So I'm going to lower it between his paws, and I'm just going to hold it there. Come here. Get him in front of me. Yes. Very little movement, right? I'm just going to hold it, but I'm not going to mark until his butt hits the ground. Come. Lowering. Yes. And marking. Okay. Let's get a little closer so you guys can see. Here we go. Look at that. Good. There we go. So he's really good at going down, but he struggles holding it. See? So even then he doesn't even want to go into a down. No. Good. Yes. That was pretty good right there. So basically I'm putting him in a down and I'm not feeding him right away. And my goal is to, a lot of times when you stand up straight, the dog will also want to stand up with you. See? So as I stand up straight, he wants to stand up with me. Yes. Good. So just a couple seconds of duration there. All right. I may have dropped some kibble in the grass and he's rooting around trying to find the easy meal. And he knows I have kibble, but as canines are opportunists, he's using his nose and he's like, man, I might be able to just find a meal on the ground. Ah. Yeah. There we go. Good boy. Yes. That was pretty good. I got to give it to Sonny. When the camera comes on, he really, really knows how to behave really, really well. Nope. Nope. There we go. Good boy. Nope. Ah. So my body action is actually he's feeding off of my body so much that if I'm not 100% confident with my posturing and I stand up, take too long to stand up, he'll just pop into a sit, and that's what we don't want, right? There we go. Pop up. There we go. And into a down. Yes. There we go. And even then, sometimes it's really difficult because I'm trying to get from a bent over position to stand up straight, but I know he wants to pop up when he sees me. So this is where the training really comes in. Down. Uh-uh. Good. Yes. Here we go. Okay, so right there, what I did basically was he was staying in a down. I was able to stand up. He was holding the down for a couple seconds. And so I never use stay. Okay, a lot of people use stay with their dog, but my stay is implied with the command. So the command is down, even though I haven't gone fully verbal with him yet. No. So sometimes he gets into this mode where he doesn't know what to do. Let's see if I can put a little pressure on him. There we go. Good boy. No. No. Mm-mm. Lay down. There we go. Yes. So let's talk about that real quick. I kind of cut myself off just because I'm trying to work with him a little bit. So obviously he's breaking his down position. He likes to go down, but then he'll pop up into a sit. So what I'm doing is I'm using my other marker word, which is no, obviously, right? We put dogs on a yes or no basis. And I am trying to load his non-reinforcement marker no, which makes him realize, okay, that's not what I'm not going to get anything when I hear that. So I need to reevaluate what I'm doing. And so basically I'm telling him no because he's breaking the down position, and then I'm re-downing him. No. Okay, so my body posture, even then, it's becomes very difficult sometimes because he sees me standing up and he wants to stand straight up. Yeah. Good boy. Yes. There we go. I'm going to give an immediate reward on that one just because the communication can become a struggle sometimes, and I want it to be very clear with what I want from him. I don't want there to be any confusion, and I can even tell he's a little confused from my body language, right? So I don't like him sitting first. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. I like him going from a stand to a down. All right. Mm-mm. No. Yes. There we go. Now we're starting to get somewhere a little bit. All right. And I'm still marking relatively quickly. It takes time to build duration. Okay. It takes a little bit of time. We had it a little earlier. So now let's get to the point where I would basically continue to lure him without using any verbal commands for a while until the point right there. So I'm not having to go down all the way to lure him. But then in order to add the verbal, I basically, well, let's back up a little bit. So before I add the verbal, I'm going to lure halfway. So once he gets into his auto sit, yes. Once he gets into his auto sit, it gets a lot harder. So instead of luring all the way to the ground, the next step is to lure halfway. You just do a halfway lure and see if he finishes the motion. Yes. All right. Good job, Sonny. Once he's going down from, come. Yes. All right. Once he's basically going down, once I start offering my hand from a stand position, then I will add the verbal. Okay. So people are so quick to tell their dog down like they know what it means. And then I'll see them a lot. They'll go down, 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 down until they're like all the way on the ground, pointing on the ground. But save yourself your breath and save your voice and just start luring your dog for 1,000 times, 10,000 times before you add the verbal. Like the luring needs to be good. The luring needs to happen like right away. So because dogs learn by motion. All right. And only until the very last step is adding in the vocal tone. Okay. I want him to perform this action 100 times. Good. Good. He's holding a nice down now. He wants to auto sit. All right. And frankly, I don't want him to sit anymore. I want him to start downing when I say down instead of sitting. Good. Yes. Good. Because he is such a amped up dog. Sonny and most spits in general, like huskies, they are going 100 miles an hour every single moment that they're awake. So one of the ways we get dogs to calm down is literally put them in a down and make them hold it. Yes. All right. And he is incapable of doing that. So that's what I'm trying to teach him. This obedience command will help him with the next step of being calm, because his owners need it when they go somewhere, they need to say Sonny down, and he just goes down and he stays there until they say yes. All right. So let's get back to good boy. Yes. That was really good. So let's get back to why I don't say the word stay. All right. I still say something, but I don't say stay. So typically, when I see people use the word stay, I actually kind of laugh a little bit and I kind of poke fun at my clients because, they'll ask their dog to sit and then this is what they do. And I'll go, okay, now walk away from your dog, right? Instead of just doing this, oh, sit. Instead of just walking away. No, right? We work through corrections on that duration. Yes. And then we finally give a release. But I will see owners time and time again do this. Come here. We have a service truck going by. So this is where Sonny gets all amped up, right? He's creating situations that are meaningless. He's turning them into something because he's so jacked up, right? So when I see people using stay, it kind of cracks me up because they go sit, and then I go, all right, walk away, and they go, stay, 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 and then they go, okay, come here. Oh my God, that's a good boy, right? And to me, it's a little ridiculous to do that, because when in life are you going to do that? You want to put your dog in a position, and if you need to walk away, you just need to walk away, So basically, I like to use as few words as possible when it comes to training dogs. Okay. I use as few words as possible. Dogs do not need a lot of words. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, general public, you talk to your dog way too much. Teach them the 9 or 10 commands that they need to know. And basically, that's all you ever need to say to your dog. All right. In these training sessions, don't give them 1,000 words. Less words are so much better. So when I tell a dog to sit, the only reinforcement word I will use is good. Sit. All right. So instead of saying stay, I will come back to the dog. Good. And the reason why I like using good as a reinforcement versus stay, no, is basically because of the way the words sound. Good. All right. To me, good. That sounds a lot better than stay, which kind of sounds like no, and which kind of has a little bit more of a negative tonality to it. Yes. All right. So, I want to be giving these dogs friendly tones when they are being good. And if you tell your dog to sit and they do stay, and the reason why I don't say stay is because sit also means stay. So my commands are implied. When I tell you to sit, you should stay. And the way I'm going to get you to no, the way I'm going to get you to stay is I'm going to, if you break no, I'm going to use corrections like no. That's when I'm going to use that tonality. But then when you do stay, I'm going to reward with good. Good boy. All right, I'm going to continue to create no. I'm going to continue to create distance from the dog. Good. And I will come back to the dog and reward and reinforce. All right? Good boy. And this is why I like using the word good instead of stay, just because of the way it sounds. Good. Now, right now, I'm going back to him every time. Good boy, because I want him to know that he doesn't need to come to me to get something. And I'm just working on heavily reinforcing what he's doing. Good. And then the biggest thing about duration that people don't realize is the release. Yes. And a jackpot reward, a handful of kibble. All right. So remember, when you're working on your dog staying in one position, make sure you give them a good release. They need to be told that they are allowed to be removed from that position. Give your dog a good release. Don't be shy about it. Be excited about it. And they will start holding their position much longer for you. Okay? So remember, when we're working with dogs, we want to focus on the 3 Ds of dog training. Okay? We work duration. The first thing we do is we get them to hold the position, whether it's a sit or a down or a place. We hold that position for a period of time. It can be a long time, but it can also be not so long. All right, so work on duration. Then we start with distance. We have them holding a position, then we leave them. We start making distance away from them. This also helps with dogs that have separation anxiety. You have to have your dog stay in one position and then you leave them. And then the final D that we add in is distractions. After that, you add in distractions, other dogs, people, cars, bikes, the real world that we live in. Okay, so if you can start training your dog with those 3 Ds, duration, creating distance, and then adding distractions, that's how you will get a well-rounded dog that understands their obedience commands. Okay, so I want you guys to remember that and start applying that to your training sessions. Start in the house where it's nice and quiet, and then start practicing outside. Remember, dog training is all about baby steps. Okay, too quickly, people want to jump from 1 to 100 with their dog. You really need to go through each step and go slow. Practice over multiple days, and eventually that will just turn into the way that you associate, take care of, and talk to your dog. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thanks for tuning in if you've been watching this long. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Or if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Um, if you guys have any special training needs, feel free to find me on my other platforms like Instagram and Facebook, and you can DM me specific questions. With that said, we'll see you guys on the next video, and thanks for tuning in.